Caitlin Clark calling out referees by name. While Stephanie White is busy scared in the press conference, oh, I don't want to say anything. Caitlin Clark saying, nope, I'm going to speak about it. While Stephanie White isn't even saying DeWanna Bonner or Alyssa Thomas's name in the press conference, sticking up for her players, Stephanie White, all you had to do in the press conference was say, hey, the players on the other team, they were playing dirty all game long.
The WNBA is in the middle of another controversy, and this one is different. This is not a hard foul debate. This is not a locker room rumor or an anonymous source with an axe to grind. This one is right there on camera, in plain sight, with the audio to match. Caitlin Clark, one of the most watched athletes in professional basketball right now, was handed her 5th technical foul of the 2026 season during a win over the Phoenix Mercury on June 22nd. And when she walked over to referee Gerda Gatling and asked what the technical was for, Gatling gave her an answer that nobody watching could quite process. The technical, Gatling told her, was for clapping her hands on a professional basketball court.
Tonight, 5th of the season.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I got a technical for clapping. So, like, if we should all just go on the calendar now and pick a game that I'm going to be suspended for if I'm going to get technicals for clapping. I asked Gerda. Gerda said that I got a technical for clapping. So, if any technical should be taken away, it should be that one. If it's truly for clapping, that's what they said they gave it to me for was for clapping. So, it's just ridiculous. I don't know.
But Clark did not hold back after the final whistle. She walked to that podium, still fired up, and said exactly what was on her mind. She also said, and this part matters, that referee Gerda Gatling told her the technical was for clapping and instigating. And when Clark heard that word, instigating, she gave Gatling a response that summed the entire situation up perfectly. She said, okay, then you just don't like competitive basketball. That's just facts. That's just reality. Think about that for a second.
How aware do you have to be of the 8 technical fouls?
I mean, I'm going to play with emotion. I'm going to play with passion. And if they're going to give me a technical foul for clapping, then so be it. That's their choice. And the league can come back and review that play. And I'd love to hear what they say of the reasoning of why I got the technical foul in that situation and why other players on their team didn't get a technical foul in that situation. If anything, split it. Okay, fine. Everybody gets a technical foul. That wasn't how they were handed out. So I'd love to know. But obviously, that's what I went to Gerda and said. I said, why'd you give me a technical foul? She said, because I was clapping and instigating. I said, okay, then you just don't like competitive basketball. And that's just facts. That's just reality. So disappointing from them.
A player who just won a basketball game, who just dropped 24 points and 9 assists, is standing at a microphone telling the world she is already mentally scheduling her upcoming suspension because the officiating has reached a point where clapping her hands is now considered a punishable act on a WNBA floor. That is where things stand.
You see Stephanie White, man, she is part of the problem. Man. She don't like when Caitlin hype up the crowd. That's what the people want to see, man. That's what the people pay the big money for, man. Let the face of the league be the face of the league, man. She feeds off of that energy, man. The whole team feeds off that energy, man. And Stephanie White, we want to stop that, bro. That's crazy. But yeah, Caitlin tired of these so-called bullies, man. And next game, y'all got to watch AT because she probably going to try to hurt somebody, man. You know how they do. But anyways, man, this is our real rivalry. They keep trying to make that girl over there in Atlanta our rivalry. That is not our rivalry, man. So I'm going to be honest, this is our real rivalry.
Here is the full picture, and it is important you see it all laid out at once because each individual call on its own might seem like a one-off 0.5 technical fouls, less than half a season played. Let that sit. One came during a delay of game sequence that most analysts watching live considered borderline. Another came in a game against the Atlanta Dream, where Clark had already been burning with frustration over a foul call. She wanted Stephanie White to challenge from the bench, but a challenge that never came.
Talk about Caitlin Clark and her technical fouls. Caitlin Clark got 2 technical fouls, or so we thought. The first one, the ball gets tipped out of bounds, she goes to get it, she kicks it off of her foot, thinking it'll go against the scores table and then come right back to her. But it didn't. Went off the side and kind of rolled down the court. She hustled after it, gave it back to the ref, and he called her for a bench technical for the delay of game. That goes against the bench, not against Caitlin Clark. Later, she did get a technical on her own at the end of the game when she argued a call with the ref. Once she hits 7, she has to sit out.
Then there was the confrontation where Clark called out a referee by name, Tyler Merkovich, at the post-game podium because She felt the officiating during that game was simply not right. And now, number 5 did a technical foul for clapping. At the free throw line during a moment of obvious emotion in the fourth quarter. 5 different games. 5 different situations. 5 whistles all pointing in the same direction. When a pattern repeats itself that consistently, you stop calling it coincidence.
Now
Caitlin Clark, she'll speak up for herself at least. She'll stand up for herself at least. And instead of speaking in generalities, she said, you know what? I'm going to name referees by name from now on. If you give me a technical foul and all I did was clap, I'm going to name you by name. So that next time we play this team, next time we play a game and you're refereeing my games and my fans see who's refereeing, we're like, oh, that's the one. That Gerda, that's...
Now the conversation that is really making the rounds is the one Clark had with Gerda Gatling directly. On the court, before the press conference, before the podium statement, in the middle of the game itself. Clark walked up, calm but clearly not happy, and asked Gatling to explain the call. When Gatling said it was for clapping, Clark did not scream. She did not throw anything. She just looked at the official and said what was on her mind. Gatling told her it was clapping and instigating. Clark responded that if clapping is instigating, then the officials simply do not like competitive basketball, and here is what makes that exchange so important. Clark was not wrong. Clapping emphatically after a foul call is not instigating. IT is a reaction. It is an emotion. IT is the natural response of a competitor who disagrees with a call and expresses that disagreement through her body language rather than her mouth. Athletes do this in every sport, on every level, every single night. The fact that a professional referee saw that and reached for her whistle tells you something worth paying attention to.
Yeah, I mean, they said that Caitlin got it for clapping. And so I guess that's taunting. And then I was talking to the officials about it when the other stuff happened, so I didn't really see exactly what was happening at the time. But look, like, it's competitive sport. Like, so that stuff happens. I felt like the officials did a good job, after everything of getting it under control. I appreciate the way they called it after that, certainly. But as a group, we have to be able to have our moment and then regroup and play with poise and composure. It can't continue to go.
Now, here is where the story takes a turn that a lot of people are talking about, and not in a flattering way for the Indiana Fever coaching staff. After the game, reporters naturally asked Stephanie White about Clark's 5th technical foul, about a call that her star player had publicly said was ridiculous, about a situation that has now put Clark 3 technicals away from a 1-game suspension. And Stephanie White's response: she did not come to the podium swinging. She did not call the technical foul absurd. She did not back up her player the way the moment demanded. Instead, she kept her answers carefully measured, and Clark's own post-game frustration ended up being the loudest voice in the room. Fans watching online were not impressed. One comment that went viral summed it up plainly. I'm still waiting for Stephanie White to get a technical foul for sticking up for her players, specifically Caitlin Clark. That comment hit because it captured something real when your star player is at a podium telling the world she is already picking out a game to miss for her suspension. You do not offer measured responses.